Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Dr. David. I'm by name James Randlam, a student at Victoria University, doing a Master of Business Administration, Human Resource Management. Uh, Today we are going to look at a research proposal, and here is a research topic: the factors that affect the employees' motivation performance on the case study of NGOs in Fangak, South Sudan. This is a topic that we are going to look at it. Here, the summary of the topic. We are going to look at the three chapter, with chapter 1, chapter 2, and chapter 3. Here, the summary. So we are going to look at the background of the study. We are going to look at the problem statement. We are going to look at the purpose of the study. We are going to look at the scope of the study. We are going to look at the research objective. Then we are going to look at the significance of the study. So this is for chapter 1. Then in chapter 2, which is a literature review, we are going to look at the 5 authors that picked my study. We are going to talk about it in detail. We are going to look at, in chapter 3, we are going to look at the research design. We are going to look at study, population, and sampling technique. We are going to look at data collection method and instrument. Also, we are going to look at data analysis techniques. We are going to look at data collection procedure. And the last one, we are going to look at ethical consideration. So here is the topic that we are going to look at it. Let me take you through the background of my study. The background of my study is talking about the employees' motivation and the performance and the target of employees. So which was being done by the Wigner in 1972. In many cases, the motivation helped to expand and prosecute how the individual perform in their role. Emphasize that the motivation compose the underlying factor that influence and give the purpose of the human action. Work motivation is widely recognized as the fundamental determinant of organization performance. The cases drive force that enhance the worker output, elevate the labor productiveness, and foster overall the organization goal. So, which was done by the Queen Ella in 2024. It played a critical role in sustaining and improving the institution effectiveness across the various sector by fostering the motivation, promoting the proportional development, and enhancing the employees' cornerstone and effectiveness, particularly in knowledge, environment, like education institution with territorial education. So this characteristic is done by the individual mandate, achieve the academic excellence, and ensure the effectiveness administrative operation. So let's go the problem of the study. It was talking about the legal procedure, no matter what has been done. In 2011, the Civil Servant Act and the Labor Act in 2017 mandating the fair basis cost of living. A South Sudanese employee has faced a lot of challenges due to the financial failure or the salary delay and the wages. The current wages structure has failed to keep the inflation in South Sudan of 90% in the same period. And the devaluation of South Sudanese pound also become the rendering and the salary insufficient to cover the basic need. This has led to high turnover and the ghost worker and reduce the public service delivery. This study aims to evaluate the insufficient and the effectiveness of the existing wage policies. Most employees have risk management, and also most employees left the job due for low payment. So we have to look at again the purpose of my study. So the purpose of my study is to find out the factors that are affecting the employees' motivation and the case study of organization in South Sudan. The scope of the study, this study is focused on the factors that affect the employees' motivation only and the performance. This study is narrow to to narrow the factor influence the employees' motivation and the study of NGOs in South Sudan. South Sudan, as considered on most as an independent country, but face a lot of challenges on this matter. So I have looked at this in the three categories. I have looked at the training, incentive, work condition, among other independent variables. Therefore, I look at the performance as a dependent variable. So therefore, the target population are the employees affected group on the motivation, like manager, which has been always interacting with the employees, has been affected in this procedure. So let's look at the research objective. My research objective is categorized into 4. It's supposed to be 3, but I choose 4. Number 1 is to evaluate the impact of the current wage and the salary policies on the performance and motivation of the public servant in South Sudan. To examine the relationship between the salary, payment, delay, and employees' performance is selected and used. To analyze the impact of the current pay scale on the retention of the skilled personnel in the humanitarian sector. To assess alignment of the performance policies with the current cost of the living in South Sudan. So the significance of this study is to find the available following way: the school administration, the graduate study research and internship coordination will be able to identify the weakness in the employees' motivation policies. Likewise, it will get to know to what extent to which employees' motivation expose the services to the people. Most is still to finding the government can rethink some policies and do a necessary amendment. To well known for the government institution, therefore, the first research to be undertaken concern the factor affecting the employees' motivation in South Sudan. Few of the sum has been done by the limited researcher. So the finding will be great literature for the future researcher on the public service. To Healthcare Foundation organization at the base level, it will be able to understand the importance of humanitarian policies and measure the quality of service to the people. So in chapter 2 is talking about the 5 authors that pick my study. The 5 authors that pick my study. So we have number 1. Number 1 is Kabir, 2011. It's talking about the contribution of training on the motivation of employees. So we have Abidi Jaliba, Sharif Salima in 2011, which is talking about the impact of salary on motivation of employees. So also we have a Wilder and Wickfield in 2009, which is talk about the employees' motivation and productiveness. So also we have the Tracy and Hickey, 2010, 2012, 2017, which is talking about employees' motivation and employees' turnover. So we have the Maslow of 1954, which is talking about the hierarchy, which is number 1 is self-actualization, self-esteem, safety need, and the social need. So these are the 5 after that pink my study. So, and here we go to chapter 3, which is a research methodology, a research design. A research design according to Luke and Robin in 1992. A research design will be used for this study to establish the factors that influence the employee's motivation. In primarily an exploratory study, allow the research to gather information, summarize, present, and interpret the purpose of classification. Survey research was intended to produce the statistic information about the issue and the investigation, according to Bong and Gale of 1989. So we talk about the study population and the sampling technique. So the study population compare of total of 30 employees of NGOs in Panga County, according to Copper and Schuler in 2011. The study population refer to the total collection of elements which one would like to study or make the interference. The population aspect, however, refer to the individual participant or object or which the measurement is taken. It was a unit of study. So we talked about the sampling technique. In this study, the sampling size of 30 of the correspondent was drawn from the finance, human resource, mail department, administrative. In this study, 12 staff from HR department was selected for interview through the use of the purpose sampling. In the purpose sampling, the research used his own judgment about which respondent to choose and which will pick only those who best serve in the purpose of the study. In this study, the purpose sampling was used because it was judgmental, allowing the researcher to pick up the certain group or individual according their relevant to issue clearly. So we go to data collection method and instrument. This research used a questionnaire only, interview, and document review method to collect the data. Data analysis, the data collecting was edited for accuracy, uniformity, consistent, and completeness. Then it was arranged and able to coding and formulated factor before analyzed. The data was coding and cross-templated to enable to the correspondent to strategize, analyze, use the descriptive statistics such as percentage, frequency, measure of central tendency like mean, mode, medium, with the help of statistic package for social science, SPSS software program. The result was presented in both tabular and graphing format. So another one is data collection procedure. The data collection procedure compare for the step and action necessary for collecting the research effectiveness and desire of this step. The research got the permission from the area coordinator of Healthcare Foundation, the area coordinator of MSF program coordinator, ACF Action Agenda field coordinator of South Sudan or Panga County. So the last one, which is not the least, the ethical consideration. This chapter presents the research methodology that was used in analyzing the research question. The study population consists of a total of 30 employees at HFO, ACF, and MSF of South Sudan, PL base. The sample size for this study was 28 correspondents. The study relied earlier on primary data, which will be a 30 collecting from the correspondent using 28 structure questionnaire. The structure questionnaire plotting test on 28 correspondent represent the various function or department, Healthcare Foundation, ACF, MSF. Analyze and cross-check the data used to analyze the result of this study. So this is my research. Thank you, dear listener. Thank you, dear colleagues, and thank you, Dr. David. I let me call it this day. Let me end from here and call it a day. Thank you.